Greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome back. I got a little interesting one here for a quick recommendation, but for those who are new, I like to make these little videos, usually about films, but occasionally I work in one about a show, a game, or a book which I enjoy and I want to share and recommend. But before I begin, if you enjoy this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon so you get notifications for when I put up new content, which is usually once or twice a week, though occasionally I try to work in a third or a fourth, depending on what I come across. While here, be sure to check out my back catalog, share both this video and channel around, and stick around to the end because all those things really do help the channel out quite a bit. Now, since we got all that out of the way, let's do a quick dive into what I believe is kind of an indie film here, or at least a first-time film, though I may be wrong, for Lady of the Manor from 2021, starring Melanie Linsky, Judy Greer, Ryan Phillippe, as well as Justin Long, who with his brother Christian wrote and directed this film. And this film, the synopsis for which is as follows. A flatulent, aimless ne'er-do-well becomes a tour guide in a historic estate and winds up befriending the manor's resident ghosts. Well, that's kind of strange because I'm not sure why they're just calling her flatulent. It's not a main part of the story. I think it comes up once. There's like one scene. But as you can guess by the synopsis, this is indeed a comedy. Melanie Linsky plays our aimless ne'er-do-well. And she spends most of her time, her character spends most of her time watching true crime shows, getting high while waiting for messages to deliver weed. Kind of like Grubhub, but for weed. Anyway, she gets into some trouble with the law as well as with her boyfriend, and now she's kind of out on her own, looking for some way to get her life back on track. And she comes across a character played by Ryan Phillippe, who is this extremely spoiled rich kid. Meaning, sure, he's a grown-up, but he is still this childish jerk who's just so spoiled. He plays his part so well, it was hard to even look at him after a while. He was just really disgusting, and I mean that in the best possible way. Anyways, getting a little off track there. He needs somebody to take over these tours of his family's estate called Wadsworth Manor, which he has been put in charge of while his father is beginning his political campaign. This works out well for her because she needs a place to live, and she gets to live at the manor. However, not only is she a bit of a screw-up with some of this, which is how she meets Justin Long's character, who is a historian visiting the manor and calling her out on all of her mistakes in the tour. But she's also beginning to piss off the ghost of Lady Wadsworth, who has inhabited this manor as a ghost ever since her passing. Now, while they kind of strike this deal for this ghost to help her perform these guided tours properly, she is also going to do them in the proper and correct way as a lady. But during that, they discover that perhaps this manor isn't actually owned by the Wadsworth family after all. So they set out to prove who the real owner is, and this brings Justin Long's character in it more so he can assist with this being a historian. Overall, this movie does pretty well. It's a very light comedy without trying to be too extreme or shocking or raunchy, just a light, fun comedy. I feel like Linsky and Greer play off each other perfectly in this. Phillippe does such a great job of just being this dick. It's hard to see him as anything else at this point. As for the locations, though, this is what I found really interesting. So this was shot as Tampa, Florida for Savannah, Georgia. So it's a bit odd considering the film industry in Georgia is, pretty well established and robust. But I was happy to see it as I live in this area and recognized a lot of these locations that they shot at, including St. Pete College, University of Tampa, and Ybor City. Particularly get some shots of Gaspar's Grotto, which I've been to several times. It's a really good local restaurant. I'm really hoping that this shoot kind of proved successful both in the resources that they had in this area as well as for the budget that they were trying to bring this in under, because I would love to see more film productions make it out to this area. As for negatives, the only thing I could think to pick at would be that it takes a bit to kind of get going. It's almost halfway through the film before Linsky and Greer's characters even meet and kind of make their deal. Sure, we need those character introductions and we need to kind of set up that world, so to speak, but I feel like it could have been set in motion in the first 15 to 25 rather than almost going as far as that 45-minute mark. Many of these jokes work and there is nothing too over the top, but here and there, a few of them don't land. But however, with all that said, I really feel this is a fun one worth checking out. At the time of this review, it's available included with Amazon Prime, so head on over and check it out. And speaking of checking out, thanks for checking out my little video here, especially for sticking around to the end like this. As like I said in the initial YouTube notice at the beginning, which I hope you follow, it really does help the channel out a lot. Anyways, thanks for stopping by, and I will see you in the next one.